My name is Mahdi Ali. I'm from the United States. I'm from Texas. This is the first time here in Arbaeen. I have come here for ziyarat previously, but it's not like Arbaeen. The spirituality of all of these millions of muhib, the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, make this an amazing experience. Arbaeen, it's really interesting. You have this, how it's different when you show up in Arbaeen. I see these slogans around, Hussein unites us. That is remarkable. And to see all of the lovers of Ahlul Bayt here for the same purpose, that's a remarkable experience. What we're witnessing is the outpouring of emotion and love that people and devotion that people have to the Prophet's family, and specifically Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And to witness that, what we're seeing is the fulfillment of the promise to Fatima Zahra that there will be a nation that will mourn your son. And this is the manifestation, this is the miracle of that happening. And that in and of itself is remarkable. And that's a unique experience that you don't get from a regular ziyarat. We started walking from Najaf to here. And one of the things that's remarkable and beautiful about the service of the people that have come out, from little children to people who've sold their furniture to be able to provide this. There's no pilgrimage like that in the world. I mean, most pilgrimages try to fleece the money. Like if you take the Hajj or different things, people are out to make money off of the experience. These people are truly sacrificing, and this is out of love they have for the Ahlul Bayt, which is remarkable. I don't know how else to put it, but one of the things that is also very beautiful is that this just naturally happened. This is not planned. This is just individual efforts that drop by drop have made this ocean of this miraculous experience. It's bigger than we can comprehend. It's bigger than any government could do. Just how this has freely manifested itself and the way it's come together, it's amazing. It's something that anyone from any walk of life, not just confined to the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, but anyone who experiences this and sees that, oh, this is the #1 pilgrimage in the world, it's remarkable. I've been a Muslim for about 25 years now. I converted to Islam, and that was largely to do with not only recognizing the truth, but also gravitating towards the Ahlul Bayt. I teach, I am a doctor of history, and I teach. And all of those things and all that background, everyone I'm sure leaves with a different experience, all in their own ways and in their own disposition and what they're familiar with. For me, everything that I am bringing to this, I'm the only person in my family who's a Muslim. And it's different, and I notice that people pick up on that. They say, oh, you stand apart, there's something different about you. It's really an honor. It's an honor, and the most valuable things that we have in our life is the rizq that Allah provides us, but not limited to things as simple as food and money, but the people we meet, the love that we've been granted for the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt is truly a blessing. So I'm overwhelmed by that rahmah that Allah has showered on not just me, but all of the people here that are part of this awesome experience. Yeah, it became, that early on became a yearning and big priority for me. And oddly enough, what's interesting about that is that years ago, of course, 25 years ago when I started this journey, Iraq was the hardest place to come. And we didn't know if we would ever be able to get in here. And back in those days, the easiest ziyarat to go to was in Sham. And now that things have become full circle, it's amazing to see that this is the place that is the magnet that is drawing the entire world to come here. And unfortunately, it's very sad, especially having visited Sham, these beautiful places we've been, to see the terrible suffering that the people are going through there. But it's really an honor and blessing to be here, and to have been able to come back and to watch how the history has unfolded of Iraq, and to be able to come here. It seems like it's happened so fast. And I'm sure you can agree with me that it wasn't that far back that we couldn't have imagined this. But nonetheless, all of this has unfolded. The Shia have come out in such large numbers, and there's nothing that'll be able to put that back. It's continuously growing. And this is all tying into the time of Akhir Zaman and a new world that is being born out of these experiences of love that's happening here. To tell people who are not familiar about Imam Hussein and what this is and what I'm doing, actually I don't even really have to contemplate what would I do, because I'm already doing that. Because I took a few weeks off from school and teaching, I came here to do that. So I told my students what I was doing, that this is the biggest pilgrimage in the world, and the outpouring of devotion that people have, and what like just telling them that how people are so devoted that they come out and they serve the Zawar. You don't have to worry about food or a place to eat. This is all part of this great love that's unfolding, and it's almost unbelievable because they've never experienced or even heard of anything like that. So what I'm doing is I'm posting pictures and videos on Instagram, and my students and the people who are watching this, who I know, are eating it up. Because to tell them is one thing, but I take short little, pictures of tiny children coming out and serving the mokibs, people saying, please, please come here and give me food. Just the numbers, the sheer numbers of people doing this. And someone who hasn't experienced that before, wow, this is something really remarkable. And it's not anything that's, even if it's not something that they will do themselves, it does command, or demand rather, a respect of someone to see something this big and know that, wow, that's something that far exceeds, our petty lives, and this is a worldwide event. Being a Muslim and how that might affect my personal life or my career life, surprisingly not as much as you may think. I think that sometimes people put those restrictions on themselves. With me, I put those in God's inbox. I can't be worried about what other people think. I can only be concerned really of how, my relationship with Allah. And so we live in a world now which is increasingly opening up to the truth, or to put it metaphorically, the sun is rising. People don't give me any issues with the name Dr. Ali. They're open, they're remarkably open, and part of that might also be if you have a disposition where you're not defensive and apologizing. I don't owe anybody an apology for being a Muslim. This is who I am. I don't shake women's hands. And I'll explain to them, for example, I practice a modesty in my religion and this is how I live. And you'd be surprised, that demands respect out of people. They're like, really? Oh, wow, that's so interesting. But aside from that, I also live in the most culturally diverse city in the world. There's everybody in the city I live in. And so it's remarkably normal. Now, I'll tell you, 25 years ago, American people, and in the West in general, they didn't even really know what Islam was. They put it in a category as Buddhism, Hinduism, something that was on the other side of the world, something very foreign and weird. The difference is today, everybody knows what it is. I even have coworkers that ask me, so what is this Karbala? I don't bring it up. They see it on TV. And word of this is getting out. And that blew my mind, because there was a time I could have never imagined that the average person would be asking questions about Karbala. But it's becoming commonly known. So, alhamdulillah, if that is going to affect my own personal life, I'm not even worried about that also. Because when I start something with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, if problems arise, I'm confident that Allah will take care of that. And if problems do arise, in the long run, in the short term, maybe it'll be painful. In the long run, I know that everything's going to turn out even better. I would have to say that my best experience from this Arbaeen, and experience this as opposed to the other ziyarats I've been on, is to see the mass of people all involved in the same thing with a common love. You see who the Shia and lovers of Ahl al-Bayt are, and it's a very empowering. I mean, the history of Shia Islam is a basement religion in the sense of the oppression. And now that the Shia are out in strong numbers, no one's going to leave here timid or afraid to be who they are. having seen this. And my wife and I were walking, and I had mentioned to her, and it brought tears to our eyes, that this is the fulfillment of the promise to Fatima Zahra, that, and look what it's become. Look at the love people have of Ahlul Bayt, and it's only growing. In an age when people are recognizing the corruption in the world, and they're making stands against the elite, that is coinciding with this growing love for the truth. And to see this many people here recognizing that, and here for the love of Imam Hussein, I don't even think a person can fathom even why they did that or why I'm here. Their soul makes that they gravitate towards this. And even if you ask me, why exactly did you come? I don't know if I can give you a straight, simple answer other than say I was drawn to this. There's a power that emanates from this that people want to be a part of. And experiencing that, alhamdulillah, it's very powerful. The questions my students have asked me about this and what's happening, I've only fielded those questions from the outset of when I was going. I said, you'll have to excuse me, I'm not going to be here. This is what I'm doing, I'm going on this pilgrimage. And they're the ones actually that said, could we follow you and do everything? And I'm like, well, of course, they are much more tech savvy than I am. So what should we do? I don't know. They said, start an Instagram page. They're the ones that made it for me. They said, post your pictures here and we want to, see what's happening. Actually, I'm not even the one that's posting this to Instagram. My students were the ones that set up the page for me so that they could follow, because I told them about it and they were so excited that just mere story wasn't going to do it. So could we see the pictures and videos? I said, well, I suppose we could. Said, we're going to set you up an Instagram page. And they made the Instagram page, and I haven't even been managing it. My son has been the one managing it for me. So we take pictures and videos, and he uploads them. And I haven't really been able to answer the questions yet because I've been so involved in this. And I don't want to be distracted by dunya-oriented things, while I'm doing this. Although my niyat in posting all of those things is not to bring attention to myself or anything like this. It's to bring attention to Imam Hussein. And it seems to be working, because even though I haven't read the post and I have not started to answer those questions, the feedback that my son is telling me is that there seems to be a lot of interest in what's going on and the things that people have seen here. So seeing my son and daughter are here, and watching my children do this, their reaction to it, I would have to say, like many things in parenting, it's yet to be seen. I can see that a seed has been planted, and in much the way maybe a parent would invest in putting money aside for college or what have you. My wife and I have made the intention and niyat, and we've acted upon it, that we're investing in our children by bringing them here and planting that seed in them. And often with kids, you don't see it right away. It's hard to tell. In time, those things will reveal itself. Although I will say, so far, alhamdulillah, it seems to be very positive. But I can't help but think that this will have a very profound effect on who they are and the way they see the world. Well, in parting, if I was to try to impart any lesson to people watching this, is that the world is changing, and this is part of it. The sun, metaphorically speaking, is rising, and darkness is being dispelled. And this plays a significant role in that. And no one could have guessed that in such a short while that this would arise to become the biggest pilgrimage in the world. This is something that cannot be ignored. And anybody who knows or hears of this owes it to themselves to find out what's going on here. I can't help but think that anyone who would come here and witness this, regardless of what background they come from, this would be a life-altering experience. So if anyone who has the means to experience it, I highly recommend the experience. At the very least, find out what's going on. And this is not just a one-time experience that will come and go. It is growing. And as it continues to grow, keep a pulse of how the world is changing and the role that this dedication of love for humanity and justice and what is right is flourishing with that. Yes, I will come back for Ziyarat Arbaeen. I hope that I have the blessings to do that. Of course, whenever we do anything, there's no guarantee. And I approach this with the attitude that if this is it, if this is the only experience I get in my life, I want to make the most of it. I hope to come back. Coming back for ziyarah, I intend probably to do during the off season, as I've done previously, because this is although this is attached to the ziyarah and the love of our Aimma and the Ahl al-Bayt, but this walk in and of itself, at the very least, if someone just comes here to experience the walk, it's enough. And so, inshallah, I hope I have the chance and blessings to do this again, as well as anyone who this message reaches. It's my hope for them that they get the chance to witness this beauty too.